In 1968, Lyndon Johnson was absolutely pissed. He just spent the past year making a peace treaty with North Vietnam, trying to end the Vietnam War. And basically, he didn't even want to go to war. It was just before the 1968 election, and because of the war, he decided not to stand. Weeks before the election, Johnson was close to announcing a peace deal between the USA and the North Vietnamese, effectively ending the war. Nixon, the frontrunner, found out, and boy was he pissed. This was pretty problematic for Nixon. He spent the entire election saying he had a secret plan to end the war, and his poll numbers were dropping. The Democrat was now in the lead. Nixon was a strange dude, and he was tired of taking L's. He was still upset that he lost the 1960 election and the 1962 California gubernatorial, which is an incredibly satisfying word to say. Gubernatorial. Anyway, Nixon's election losses were super engraved into his psyche. Nixon was paranoid and said to his mate Haldeman that LBJ had announced these peace talks just to spite him and ruin Nixon's election chances. Yeah, Nixon was like a strange dude. So Nixon, being a bit of a dick, calls up the South Vietnamese and says, "Look, if I win, you'll get a better peace deal, so screw whatever LBJ has given you and just wait for me to become president." Which, surprisingly, they went for. 3 days before the election, the South Vietnamese pull out of the talks and Nixon wins the election. Johnson is on tape saying, "Our friend, the Republican nominee, has been playing around with our enemies and all our allies," and essentially accusing Nixon of treason. The war went on for another 4 years, by which 20,000 extra US soldiers died, 200,000 South Vietnamese troops, and an untold amount of civilians. Purely because Nixon was an arsehole who really wanted to win the presidency, which he then resigned from. Yeah, he's a bit of a twat.